If you're going to visit Glacier National Park, here's what you need to know.
We're chasing the weekday, full-time RV travelers reviewing real destinations so you know what's worth visiting.
Today we're going to talk about visiting Glacier National Park, specifically the Red Bus Tour.
Glacier National Park is in northern Montana, and the park is so big it actually goes into Canada, but we didn't go that far.
If I was only able to do one thing while we were in Glacier, I would definitely not skip the Red Bus Tour. This tour is one of those things that you just can't miss out on. It is an amazing experience, especially if you're not wanting to drive the Going to the Sun Road yourself. The jammers there will take care of you, and it's a really amazing tour. How long do you need? Well, we ended up booking the half-a-day tour, which was 4 hours. But there are longer tours that you can book. We just didn't want to spend our whole day doing that one thing. I would say that, like, looking back on it, I wouldn't mind spending my whole day doing that. If I was going to do it again, I might book a longer tour.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was definitely an amazing experience getting to tag along in one of those original cars. The frame itself is made of wood, so that's really neat. If you open up the car, you can see the wood.
The body is made of wood. Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Yeah.
It was a good way to get your fingers smashed off too.
Yes, they're very strict about not shutting the doors. They want you to leave the doors open and they shut them.
It's because the doors are made of wood too.
Yeah, so everything's kind of made of wood. The whole body is basically made of wood and metal combined. And the body is very heavy, the doors are heavy, and they will chop your finger off, probably.
So don't do that.
So who do we recommend going on the Red Bus Tour? Well, anybody. If you can sit in a car for at least 4 hours and are physically able to get in and out of a car, then this is for you.
I would say when we rode the Red Bus, our family rode in the back row, and so because of that, the wheel wells were kind of up in our leg area, so that made it a little difficult, but it wasn't a big deal to us. But those of you guys who might have a handicap or disability might find it a little difficult to get in that back row. So I would recommend trying to get into the front. The very front seat and that very front row were actually really roomy, and I would recommend trying to sit up there if you have some kind of disability. And they will help you in and out of the car. Our jammer was really helpful in that way too.
Yeah, and we were all the youngest people on the whole bus tour in our bus.
Yeah. If you have small children, I would recommend bringing some kind of snack or something like that to entertain them, because it does get a little long, and our boys, they are in their preteen and teenage ages, and both of them were, antsy by the end of it. They ended up falling asleep on our way back, but I would definitely recommend bringing some kind of snack or things like that with you. You do get the opportunity to go to the restroom pretty much right off the bat. There is an amazing lodge that you will stop at, and they let you out for a few minutes there, and you can kind of explore, which is pretty amazing. That lodge was there before the road existed, so they told us a little bit about it, saying that you used to not be able to get to the lodge unless you went by boat. So when you actually pull up to the lodge in the red buses, you're pulling up to the back of the building. It was meant to be seen from the lake, and on the lake side, it's really beautiful.
The pros of the Red Bus Tour is you don't have to drive on the Going to the Sun Road, and that makes it super nice. Especially if you're the one that normally does all the driving, you get the freedom to just sit there and look around. You don't have to worry about anything, because everything is done for you. All you have to do is just enjoy it.
Another pro for us was the jammer that was driving our bus was super knowledgeable, and so we got to learn a lot of neat facts and history about the park itself and the people that lived there and created the park. Also, our jammer was really good at keeping our boys engaged, keeping them interested in what they were seeing around them, and also helping them not to be super bored. He was telling jokes the whole time, keeping us all happy and entertained.
Mm-hmm.
But also taking the time to really explain like the different mountains and the different stories and the lore of the area. So that was really neat.
They have a plan. They bring in the surveyors. This is about 30 guys. They said it was the most difficult because they aren't just scaling this hillside every day. They're carrying surveyor chains with them. And a surveyor chain, it's a very thin chain, but nonetheless a very heavy chain. And they have to carry it up the mountain, and they're anchoring it into the side of the mountain. And 100 feet forward, 6 feet up. 100 feet forward, 6 feet up. And that's a 6% grade.
So one of the cons is the cost. So our red bus tour was a half-a-day tour. It was from the Apgar village up to Logan Pass and back. And that cost just over $300 for the 4 of us, which is quite a bit of money to spend on a half-a-day excursion, but at the same time I still feel like it was worth every penny.
Definitely. Another con is that if you have plans for the day and you're running behind or anything like that, it's you're bound to their schedule. You have to stay with your driver. You're not able to get out and really explore any area that you want to see a little bit longer. You have to leave when they say we're leaving. If you want to stay at the lodge a little bit longer, you can't do that. You're going to have to come back another day and do that on your own time. So I would definitely say that we would love to go back there sometime and really get to spend maybe an even longer time on the red bus. They did have a longer tour that we did not do that actually travels to the other side of the park. And so to be able to see the entire park would be really a neat experience, and we haven't got to do that yet. Tips: stretch your legs before you get in the car.
For sure. Anytime he says we can stop here and you can get out, stop and get out.
Take advantage of it.
Take advantage of it. Because you do get pretty bound up in those cars or in those buses because they're pretty small.
They were made for a different time.
And I will say, we got super lucky because we booked ours like the day before or 2 days before. And so we got on the bottom of the list, which meant we got the last bus for that morning. And we got really lucky because that bus wasn't very full. I think there was an entire row empty, pretty much, on the bus. And then the second thing is we got a driver who his bus was scheduled for maintenance that evening, and so he didn't have his afternoon tour to go on, so he actually let us stay a lot longer and explore a lot more and experience a whole lot more that part of that tour has to offer, which is pretty cool. And also, if you go on that tour and you stop at the lodge, the Lake McDonald Lodge, like we did, sit in the chairs on the porch of the lodge. To you, it'll be the back porch because you'll have to walk through the building to get there. But it's actually the front porch because it's facing the lake. And tons of people, famous people, have sat in those chairs. Like presidents, I believe Teddy Roosevelt has sat in one of the chairs.
I want to say he said Elvis Presley too, but I could be wrong.
It's very possible. Anyway, lots of really neat people and probably some not so neat people have sat in those chairs. And I have also sat in one of those chairs. I took advantage of it because I waited for one to open up and I set my butt down in one of them for a little bit. And that was really cool to just sit there and take in all the history that place had to offer.
That chandelier in the lobby was really cool too.
Yes.
I can't remember the whole story behind it though.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that as long as you get a good jammer like ours was Jammer Ron. We think he's the best, of course, and he is very knowledgeable about things in the park, and he filled us with more knowledge than we will ever remember.
Yeah, he did, for sure. If you decide to book a red bus tour, we do recommend that you get there early. There is quite a crowd, and you do have to wait for your bus to be called and for your name to be called. One positive, though, is that they do have a manifest. So if you are running a tiny bit late, they will be looking for you and making sure that they're not leaving you behind. They are really understanding, but they do have a schedule to keep, and they are very adamant that they're going to stay on that schedule.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you are running a tiny bit behind, they'll probably wait for you, but I would say no longer than 5 minutes. They'll probably
definitely.
leave. They
Yeah.
probably would not wait longer than that.
For sure.
There are plenty of other beautiful things to do while you're in Glacier National Park. Lake McDonald is an amazing lake, and it has the most beautiful beach, Pebble Beach, that you'll ever see. The water there is crystal clear and great swimming, especially when we went. It was really warm in the 90s, so we like to go swimming there. There's lots of hiking and lots of other opportunities that we did not get to take advantage of, but it is all an amazing place and definitely worth it. But we definitely would recommend taking the Red Bus tour.
If we ever go back, I will take the Red Bus tour again, maybe from the other side to Logan Pass and back from the east side, and that way we can still do a half-day tour and get to see the other side of the park.
Our jammer did say that the other side of the park has more wildlife that you can see as you're driving. We didn't see a whole lot of wildlife.
Yeah, we really didn't.
The only
at
place
all.
that we saw was when we were at Logan Pass. There was a bighorn sheep.
Oh, there was, yeah.
So that's the only place that we saw it. So if you're really wanting to see wildlife, you need to go to the east side of Glacier instead of where we started,
According to what they say.
according to that jammer.
If
And
you go to the east side and don't see anything, don't come at us.
it's not,
It's
our,
not
fault.
our fault.
And I mean, we really have been to a lot of places, and very rarely did we even get to see wildlife. So
Pretty much, yeah.
it was kind of a rare occurrence for us.
We really struck out on most things. We still never saw a bear.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we walked 15, 20 feet from one.
Yeah.
Didn't see it.
Yeah.
But we all wear glasses except for the kid with the most ADHD. So
Yeah.
make your judgments from that. Obviously, we feel like the best time to visit is sometime during the summer. We were there for the first week of September just because that was the only time we could get a spot, because we decided to stay at the KOA at West Glacier, and it is an amazing RV resort, and they have RV spots, cabins, really neat cabins, also like lodges, not lodges, but like, I don't know,
They're like two
more
stories.
yeah, more like ski cottages.
Airbnb
Almost.
style.
Yeah, almost like Airbnb style stuff. Anyway, very expensive though. A week there is more than a month on the beach for us. So just plan for it, and that was our biggest expense on our big summer trip. So we just planned for it, and that was our big item, our big place to see. That was our whole goal, was to get there. And so we stayed there a whole week, and
It was gorgeous.
gorgeous, and we would go back in a heartbeat. Again, we always say every place is busy, because every place is busy, no matter what. It's always busy. If it's open, it's busy.
Well, we did find out that if you go back later in the evening into the park, it is actually a little less busy.
Yeah.
And we were able to park our big truck out there at Apgar Village and walk to the lake. So maybe that's something that if you're able to, you might look into, is going in the morning and then leaving for lunch and taking a break and then coming back in the evening time.
Yeah.
Because it was a little bit less busy in the evening. I think after the restaurants close, it
Yeah.
kind of empties out a little bit.
Yeah, it was much more peaceful and relaxed in the evenings, much more kind of our speed, just people hanging out, having a good time, and not near as many of the people who are just there to rush through everything and see everything that they can in 5 minutes and move on, which you see a lot of that in national parks. People are in a hurry, which I will never understand, because they'll never experience the actual beauty and joy of a national park. And that's really what we're supposed to do, is experience that.
Yeah, people are super impatient when it comes to driving, things like that. I don't understand
Yeah.
why you would want to rush through something that is once in a lifetime for a lot of people.
Yeah, and
So-
our jammer actually told us that they see at least one wreck a day
Yeah,
or
a
a
week.
Okay, they see at least
Yeah.
one wreck a week, and they have definitely seen several fist fights break out over
Yeah.
parking spots.
Especially up there at Logan Pass, because there's
Yeah.
like no parking.
We've had fistfights up at Logan Pass over parking spaces. We've had an accident on the road almost every week. But you're sightseeing, so it's totally understandable. But just seriously, I want you to remember good things about this park.
Yes, they say that Logan Pass parking lot fills up by 6 o'clock in the morning. They say if you haven't parked there by 6 o'clock in the morning, that you will basically just be circling the lot waiting for somebody to leave. So get there super early if you're going up there.
If you're driving yourself,
Yeah.
take something small.
Yeah. Take a moped, smart car, something like that. We saw a person in a Dodge 1-ton pickup with an overhead camper, a truck camper on the back, and he was told to turn around, and he did not. He didn't listen. So we don't know how that turned out. The
We're getting
music is
sang out.
starting.
Good job, babe.
Good job to you, babe. Like,
If you're going to visit, you need to visit Glacier National Park. Also, our jammer was really good at keeping our boys I want to say interactive, but it's engaged.
yeah.
One more. Spend some money. It's expensive.